Today we had a meeting here to discuss on the challenges that we have as the farmers of the west of Rift. And we are glad that the deliberations that we have had in our meeting have been fruitful. We only have one agenda going forward, that is to pursue the implementation. We have a statement that is going to be read by our National Vice Chair, Mr. Omweno, who is here, and I wish to invite him to read the statement. Thank you.
Thank you, my colleague, Philip, and my Vincent, who is also a board member, Francis from Kapsara, and Mencho Samson, and my colleague, directors from the 5 zones of west of Rift. That's Kericho, Bomet, Kisii, Nyamira, Nandi, Kakamega, Kapsabet, and Kitale. Members of the press, my names are Omweno Mbasa, the Vice Chairman, Ktda Holdings. As Ktda board members, representing the west of Rift region, we wish to address our farmers and stakeholders following the announcement of this year's second and final payment for the year 2024-2025 financial year, and to speak to the key issues currently affecting the tea sector, particularly in our region. We understand and share the concerns expressed by our farmers regarding the reduced payment compared to last year. As your representatives and as tea farmers ourselves, we are equally disturbed by this situation. We therefore find it important to clarify and the underlying factors, ongoing interventions, and our collective path forward. Since the release of the second payment, Ktda has outlined the reasons behind the lower bonus rates, which we wish to reiterate for clarification or clarity. It is important to emphasize that the challenges we face arise from global market dynamics and policy shifts that are largely beyond our control. It is also important to state that despite the decline in payments, the 2024-2025 financial final Greenleaf payout of 69 billion is actually the second highest in the Ktda recent history. During the 2024-2025 financial year, the average exchange rate of the US dollar fell from 144 shillings to 129 shillings, reducing our returns when converted to Kenya shillings. Additionally, the average price of made tea declined from 389 per kilogram last year to 309 this year, a drop of about 80 shillings, equivalent to roughly 20 shillings less per kg of greenleaf. Greenleaf production also fell by about 12% from 1.4 billion kilograms last year to 1.2 billion kilograms this year, further affecting revenues. Specifically, for the West Rift region, Kericho earned 245 shillings, a drop of 101 shillings. Bomet earned 209 shillings, a drop of 85 shillings. Nyamira earned 266 shillings, a drop of 106. Kisii earned 246, a drop of 95. And Nandi Vihiga and 208, a drop of 66 shillings. These are the prices for made tea, and when converted to green leaf using the 4.4 ratio, they explain the reduced farmer payouts across the board. In addition, substantial carryover stock from last year was sold at a lower prices following the withdrawal of the reserve price mechanism at the Mombasa tea auction. This particularly affected west of region factories that had high stock levels. Initially, this tea was valued at 2.4 per kilo. That's $1 per kilo, dollars per kilo. But after the reserve price was lifted, it sold for as low as $0.85 of $1 per kilo, a major loss to our factories and farmers. We wish to note that this decision to remove the reserve price was implemented without consultation with Ktda or factory boards. We are currently actively engaging relevant authorities and stakeholders to review this policy and safeguard the smallholder farmers' interest in the future. Of the 1.24 billion kilograms of green leaf produced during the financial year, 693 million kilograms, that is 56% of the production, came from the east of the lift, while 548 million kilograms, that is 44%, came from the west of the lift. Differences in payment rates reflect variations in tea quality, factory costs, and volumes produced, sold. Factories from the west of the lift, where leaf hawking and quality inconsistencies continue to pose challenges, recorded lower average unit prices, but achieved higher overall payment as they leverage on higher yields. Payments to growers per county ranking, that is countrywide across the board. Murang'a paid 13.74 billion. Meru paid 9.09 billion. Kirinyaga paid 7.34 billion. Kericho paid 6.8 billion. Kiambu paid 6.69 billion. Bomet paid 6.6 billion. Nyeri paid 5.37 billion. Embu 4.27 billion. Nyamira 4.01 billion. Kisii 1.96 billion. Tharaka Nithi 1.39 billion. Nandi 993 million. Vihiga paid 447 million. Trans Nzoia 251 million. A total of 69 billion paid to the farmers countrywide across the board. Impact of the Tea Act and direct sales. The Tea Act 2020 also introduced changes that disrupt long-standing market price structures. Before the Act, many companies in the west of Lift sold a significant portion of their teas through direct sales overseas, often at better prices and with reliable buyers. The immediate prohibition of direct sales caused a huge buildup of unsold teas, which were later offloaded through the auction at a lower prices due to oversupply. This policy shift dealt a serious blow to the factory revenues. At the heart of the tea business lies one undeniable truth: quality determines price. The higher the quality of green leaf, delivered to our factories, the better value our tea commands at the auction and in global markets. Over the past year, we have implemented several measures to enhance quality, from leaf collection, transportation, to processing and packaging. Encouragingly, these efforts are already bearing fruit, with improved buyer interest and better bids for West Lifty teas at the Mombasa auction. We urge our farmers to maintain strict adherence to plucking standards, avoid leaf contamination, and deliver fresh leaf promptly. Quality is our collective responsibility, and our most reliable pathway is better earnings. We have taken note of the ongoing discussions and the calls for audits of tea factories from various quarters, including farmers and leaders from our region. As board members, we wish to emphasize that we have nothing to hide, and in fact, welcome any lawful audit processes that promote transparency and accountability. However, it is important to note that the cost of such audits should not be borne by farmers. Those callings for the audits should be met the associated expenses. On the issue of interfactory loans, this model allowed factories to borrow from one another, either between the East and the West regions, or within the same region, to address short-term financial needs and ease the burden on farmers. We wish to clarify that Ktda is in the process of phasing out this model, and that the reconciliation of previously borrowed funds is ongoing and nearing completion to ensure full accountability. Beginning mid of this month, factories will be able to access financing directly from commercial banks at an interest rate of 6%, a step that will enhance financial independence and strengthen stability across the tea sector. Another key strategy for improving farmer returns is reducing factory production costs, particularly energy expenses, which consume a large share of operational budgets. To address this, Ktda has been investing in small hydropower projects to supply clean, affordable, and reliable electricity to tea factories. In the west of Lift region, the Nyambunde small hydropower station, commissioned in 2024, now serves Nyankova Tea Factory, Ogembo Tea Factory, Itumbe Tea Factory, and the Hiamokama Tea Factories in Kisii and Nyamira counties. The Setet small hydro project in Kericho is at an advanced stage of construction and will serve factory in Bomet and the Kericho counties. Meanwhile, Chemuka small hydro project in Nandi Hills has received funding and is set for groundbreaking very soon. Once fully operational, these hydros will significantly cut energy costs, improve factory profitability, and enhance overall sustainability. However, they align with Ktda climate smart agenda, positioning our tea industry as a global model for green production. A growing challenge in our region is the rise of tea hawking, and the rapid registration of private tea companies without adequate green leaf basis, contrary to the provision of the Tea Act. These companies often lure farmers with spot cash payments, but they offer no long-term security or transparency. Their operations destabilize organized Ktda factories, dilute quality, and threaten the collective value built over decades by smallholder farmers. When Ktda factories receive insufficient leaf volumes, yet their operational costs remain constant, they are forced to run below capacity. For example, profits and all farmers to remain loyal to their factories and continue delivering their leaf through the structured Ktda system. By doing so, you protect your investment, jobs, and the long-term stability of the tea value chain. We also call for an immediate audit of all licenses issued to privately owned factories to ensure compliance with the Tea Act and protect farmers from exploitation. It is unfortunate that in recent times, the tea sector has been drawn into political wrangles and a divisive rhetoric. The tea industry thrives on professionalism, cooperation, and stability, not on political contestation and respect for institutional structures. Political interference only breeds confusion, drives away investors, and undermines market confidence, untimely hurting the very farmers we seek to serve. Let us work together in unity and good faith to strengthen the sector and restore pride and prosperity to our small tea farmers. Under the leadership of His Excellency the President, William Ruto Daktari, for its unwavering support to the tea industry. In particular, we wish to acknowledge the fertilizer subsidy program, which has greatly reduced input costs for our farmers. The recovery of funds previously held in the collapsed Chase and Imperial banks, ensuring that the farmers and the factory assets were protected. The lifting of the Rainforest Alliance certification suspension, which has reopened critical export markets for Kenyan tea. Through government intervention, a total of 3.5 billion has been made available to modernize together with Ktda management, we are developing strategies to stabilize incomes and diversify market opportunities, expand into specialty and orthodox teas, promote value addition, and explore direct market access to better returns. We urge our farmers to remain calm, patient, focused. We are committed to transparency, collaboration, and practical solutions that will restore our and grow farmer earnings in the coming seasons. Together, we shall overcome the current challenges and secure the future of the smallholder tea enterprise for the generation to come. KDDA, board members, and all KTDA West of Lift directors, thank you so much. Now, members of the media, if there are questions, you can ask. I have my colleague board members here and directors. We can respond to any question that you might ask. Yeah? Thank you, Madam. In KTDA, we have subsidiaries, and one of subsidiaries is Green Feather, which has come out paying a day after a farmer has weighed or sold her crop or his crop. So there is Green Feather, which is out now, trying to also balance with what the private are doing. And that Green Feather is actually paying a price which is better than the independent factories are paying. Yeah. Any other question?
Can you repeat? Yes? If you can come closer. Come closer. Yes. Okay, thank you. I think we can only achieve that if we can get more leave. We have constant costs. The constant costs are like operational costs. Salaries are there. Those are the fixed costs that we can, unless we get more leave. Now, what we are asking our farmers is, if a factory is supposed to process, let's say, 25,000 tons a day, to supply the 25 tons a day, that's the only way we can meet the costs. But if we do less, definitely the cost of production will go higher. Thank you. Yes. My name is Vincent Atey. I'm a board member on 10. Thank you.
Any other question? We summarize this document.
No, you can't.
long. Okay. Wananchi watukufu ambao mko wakulima pamoja na chai, hii document ambayo nimesoma kwa Kizungu nitatafasiri kidogo tu. Market factors, ile prices zetu au wale wanunuzi wetu kutoka nje ndio waliaffect mambo ya ununuzi wa chai yetu. Na chai yetu, wale wanunuzi kutoka nje wanataka quality, chai nzuri ambao iko na mnuso mzuri na mambo ingine mazuri kwa chai. Na nikiendelea hapa mbele nitasema kwa Kenya mzima yale malipo kila county ilipata, kama Murang'a walipata bilioni 13, Meru bilioni 9, Kirinyaga bilioni 7, Kericho bilioni 6, Bomet bilioni 6, Nyeri bilioni 5, Embu bilioni 4, Nyamira bilioni 4, Kisii bilioni 1, Tharaka Nithi bilioni 1, Nandi milioni 993, Vihiga milioni 447 na Trans Nzoia milioni 251. Mambo ya ununuzi wa chai yetu kwenda nje, wale wanunuzi wanataka quality. Bottom line, hakuna mambo ingine ya kusema at prices watu wa negotiate, ni quality ambayo inatupatia hiyo price. Tunauliza wale wenzetu ambao wamesema chai yetu ni mafactory yetu ifanywe audit. Sisi kama board members country mzima, mafactory 71 wa Ktda, sisi hatuna kukataa, hatuwezi kataa tukatae wasije kufanya audits. Wacha wafanye audit na cost ile malipo, the ones who are doing it wajipatie hiyo costs. Mambo ya power, electricity, sisi hapa kama West tuko na hydro power moja inaitwa Nyambunde ambao ina serve factory 4, na iko ingine inaitwa Setet ambao ina under construction, itakuja kuserve Kericho na Bomet, na iko ingine inakuja inaitwa Chemuka ambao itaserve mambo ya Vihiga, Nandi na Kakamega. Ziko karibuni kuja kuanza kazi. Ila tungesema tena ni mambo ya hawking. Tungeuliza kwa hisani sisi kama directors, the licensing board ile napatiana license ya factories kujengwa zile private, waangalie hizo factories kama siko na majani chai, siko na shamba, si kuja alafu wanganganie ile tea oro chai yetu ambao tumeishapanda kama Ktda. Tungeuliza Tea Board of Kenya iangalie hiyo maneno, waangalie kama watu wako na chai wana, kwa sababu wakiendelea kuchukua chai sasa inaumiza Ktda factories, kwa sababu cost of operations itakuwa juu kwetu kwa sababu ya volume. Ningeuliza wenzetu ambaye ni leaders wetu, politicians, kabla hawajaenda kwa magazeti, tungekaa, kwa sababu hata sisi ni farmers, wanakuja tunakaa pamoja, tunauliziana, tunasemeshana ya kwamba kwa nini tulipata mapato ya chini. Instead of going to waende kwa magazeti, hii sasa inaleta baraa hata kwa wale wakulima tuko naye huko. They make them feel unstable wakulimaji. Kwa hivyo ningeuliza wenye siasa wenzetu waje tunaketi chini, tunaongea bila mambo mingi ya kwenda kwa magazeti ili kuongea yengine ambao si sawa. Na nitachukua hii nafasi kusema asanteni kwa serikali kwa sababu inatupatia subsidy kwa fertilizer. Ilitusaidia kupata pesa zetu kutoka kwa Chase Bank na Imperial Bank na ku uplift Rainforest Alliance, ile certification ambao nchi za nje zikiangalia zinanunua chai zetu. Alafu nakuja kutusaidia pesa bilioni 3.5 ili tununue machines mpya za kuweka kwa factory zetu. Na ningeambia wakulima wetu ya kwamba sisi tuko mbele, tunaangalia, tutasaidiana ili tuone mambo ya diversification na specialty tea na orthodox tea imekuja ili tusaidiane tupate mapato ya juu. Mwishoe direct markets kwenda ng'ambo, hiyo tunaangalia ili kila factory ione kama tutauza mapato yetu kwenda nje za nje bila kupitia auction. Asanteni. Iko hii issue ya direct blind testing na scientific testing na ile ambao tunatest tukiangaliana. Tunauliza wale ambao wanaangalia hii maneno ambao ni IATA iko huko pale Mombasa, tunataka sisi kama country mzima, hata watu wenzetu kutoka factory zingine 71 tuwe na codes. Instead chai iandikwe Kiamokama, lazima iandikwe code fulani ili iwe blind testing without knowing which factory it is. Hiyo tunauliza wale wanauzikana, karibuni tukae pamoja tuangalie vile tutapatiana codes. Iko kitu kingine inaitwa directors allowance. Wengine wamesambaza sana ya kwamba directors wanapata 50,000 kwa city. Hapana. Kwa kusema ukweli ambao hatukutaka tuseme hapa, madirectors ile pesa wanapata ni kama 18,000 kwa sitting, na ikiwa ile regulated sittings, na zile zingine za duty ile kamati kidogo inaketi wanakula 12,000 kwa sitting. Hii mimi nasema ukweli, kutoka huko juu mpaka huko chini tunalipwa 12,000 kwa duty allowance, na sittings wanapata 18,000. Sasa kabla hujatoa tax. Tax ikitolewa inakuwa pesa kidogo sana. Lakini wale wanasema ni 50,000, sijui walipata hizo kutoka wapi. Na sittings, they are regulated per year. It's only wakati kama wanaenda seminar ndio utaweza sema imeongezeka kidogo 2 au 3. Lakini sittings they are regulated ziko 4 kwa mwaka mzima. Na hakuna meetings zingine ambao zitawekwa bila regulation or notice kupeanwa. Kwa hivyo tunauliza wale wanaongea, afadhali kuja mpate hakika kutoka kwa factories, au tuko na FUMs ambao wana regulate those meetings of calling us or making notices us to come for the meetings. Kwa hivyo yale nimeweka hapa, kama iko swali muulize.
Okay, thank you so much. Much has actually been said by the Vice Chair. Much has been said by the Vice Chair, and that's exactly what we wanted to make it clear today, because we have not been very comfortable with the lies that are going around that our directors are earning exorbitant allowances, which have resulted in the low payment of bonuses. That's not the case. Directors, as usual, as has been said, are entitled to a small allowance that has been mentioned here, an allowance of 18,000 shillings per sitting. And that is not what is making the West of Rift factories not to perform. We also wanted to make it clear that the initiatives that have been put before by the regulators, like the reserved price, actually resulted in the low bonuses. And we want to tell our farmers today that we are very focused, we are very concerned, and we care for them. Because first and foremost, before we are directors, as you can see us here, we are farmers there. The ticket for one to become a director is first being a farmer, a tea farmer. And so whenever we are here, we are very concerned because we also care to earn good income from our teas. We educate our children with tea, we feed our children with tea, we clothe with tea. Our parents, our brothers and sisters rely on tea for livelihoods. And so there is no way we can relax but to try every time to ensure that we get good earnings. What we want to emphasize is that we request the government to assist Ktda in looking for markets outside this country so that we have steady movement of teas from our warehouses to the buyers outside the country, and that will result in better prices. And in future, we are definitely going to realize prices that are going to support the livelihoods of our farmers. We are also asking our farmers to commit themselves to quality, as has been said, because we have realized that for one to earn good payment from tea, it is through quality green leaf, quality production of tea, and when we do that, we are definitely going to talk of better income in future. So we also want to ask our colleagues, because out there is much interest from every quarter about tea, that, as has been said by the Vice Chair here, whenever people have doubts, they are organized to have a meeting with the directors who are better placed to explain the challenges that are affecting the tea sector, so that we don't go out there and tell people anything that we think and confuse everybody to think that there are people who are placed somewhere to siphon their hard-earned income. That one cannot happen, and we are assuring our farmers that we are confident with our concerted effort, the future is bright for them. The future is bright. So really, I don't have much to say. Perhaps there is a director, Kazi, who wants to say something. Kimboy, karibu sana.
Sorry. Vile mwenzangu alikuwa ameitisha kwamba tuongee lugha ya Kiswahili, niko hapa kusisitiza jambo moja tu. Kwa majina naitwa Robert Kipkemboi, mwenyekiti wa kiwanda cha Chebut na Kaptumu. Na tuko hapa kama directors au wakurugenzi kutoka sehemu ya West of Rift. Na jambo kuu hapa ni kwamba tumekuja kutetea wale wakulima wetu wa sehemu ya West of Rift, kwamba wao pia kama Wakenya wengine wanataka wapate mapato mazuri kwa mimea yao, na mmea ambao tunauongelea hapa sana ni chai. Na tungependa kusisitiza kama directors au wakurugenzi kutoka West of Rift, wale wakulima bwana si watu wajinga, wanajua kinachoendelea, na tungeomba sana wale ambao wanashughulika na maneno ya kuweza kuuza chai wajue wale pia wana watoto wa kuwapeleka shule, wale pia wana matumbo ya kuweza kuyajaza kwa sababu wanakula kama watu wengine. Tungeomba sana wakati ule mmea wa chai unapotengenezwa katika kiwanda na kuweza kusambazwa kikauzwa duniani, jameni, tujue kwamba ni mmea ambao unasaidia watu kuishi. Ya pili, kuna siasa mingi sana kama yetu Chebut. Tulisemekana kwamba tunakutana kwa factory mara 111. Jameni, hata ukiweka hesabu ya rais, mwaka ina siku 365. Sisi haturuhusiwi kukutana mwisho wa wiki. Siku mbili hizo ni siku 104. Ukiweza kuangalia pale ni kama yule anajaribu kusema baada ya kila siku mbili wakurugenzi wanakutana. Na amesema tulikula milioni, jameni, milioni 500 ningekuwa hapa. Sieri hata ningekuwa MCA kuliko kuwa mkurugenzi. Na hawa watu hawana pesa. Hawa wakonde ajabu sana katika mifuko yao. Kwa sababu zile pesa wanapata kwa allowance ni shilingi 12,000 mama. Tunalipa mpaka tunalipa housing levy ya serikali 2.5%. Tunalipa taxes sio kama zenu 16%, yetu ni 35%. Pesa ambazo tunapatiwa ni majina tu, wakurugenzi, watu wenye ni vitamu. Hamna kitu hapo. Lakini tungependa sana kwa sababu sisi ni wakulima pia, tupate haki yetu ndio tuwe tunaishi maisha mazuri kama watu wa Kenya wengine. Ya mwisho, vile mwenzangu amesema, ili kusawazisha bei ya chai katika sehemu hii, ile policy ilikuwa Ktda ya kusema miradi kama ya kutengeneza power au umeme ule, jameni, tuweze kuzidisha hizo miradi katika sehemu yetu ya West of Rift, ndio pia hawa wakulima wapate pesa kama wale wenzetu wenye wako East of Rift. Ya mwisho, wakati mkurugenzi yeyote anapoinua mkono na kunyoroshea mfanyikazi wote wa serikali ambaye amechaguliwa na rais, tungeomba sana msamaha ule uweze kutolewa sehemu hili, kwa sababu yule ni kama watu wawili wanaenda sokoni, dada na ndugu, wamebeba nyanya. Kufika sokoni, dada ama ndugu analipuka anasema mwenzangu amebeba vitu vibaya, na wale wenzetu wamesema sisi kama West of Rift tuna chai mbovu. Jameni, hiyo msemo ambao waliweza kusema, waliweza kutuharibia soko, wameweza kutuharibia morali ya kwenda shambani. Tungeomba sana msamaha kutoka kwao. Ni hayo tu. Asante sana.
Asante sana. Okay, so up to there we want to declare this meeting ended, and we want to thank you for being here to cover the
Mark your calendars. On Saturday, December 6th, all roads lead to Chepsaita for the third